This week's story is called Boat Travelers, but before I read that to you, I wanted to go over a couple of things. The question of the week is, how can a great idea make our lives easier? So I'm thinking about that and boats, and how would a boat make someone's life easier? I also wanted to tell you what kind of story it is, what genre it's from. It's called expository nonfiction, and what that does is it explains real events. So now I have our blue and silver book, and I wanted to show you a couple things before I start reading too. So as you open the book, you flip over to some pages, and right here, I think this is really important for you to know how to find. It's the table of contents, and that lists every story. So it lists Tippy Toe Chick Go, Little Red Hen, Mole and the Baby Bird, Dr. Know-It-All, Dot and Jabber and the Great Acorn Mystery, Water. You have to keep going to find our story. And right here it says Boat Travelers. Once I find my story, I can scroll over and I see that it starts on page 120. So when I'm ready to find Boat Travelers, I just need to go to that page. So instead of doing one page at a time, I'm going to try and flip to the middle. Oh, that's too far. 147. I need to get back to 120. And here's 120. Here's the title of our book, Boat Travelers. And it has a diagram here of a canoe. Now, I think a canoe is the name of a kind of boat, but I'm going to look it up in the glossary to make sure. The glossary is a dictionary that you have in the back of your book. And look, canoe is on the page under C. It says canoe. A canoe is a narrow boat that is pointed at both ends. A canoe moves when someone in it pushes a paddle through the water. And they even show a picture of the canoe. Boat Travelers, written by Elmira Astudillo Gills and illustrated by Bill Farnsworth. The question at the top is, why travel by boat? If I pull my camera back, you can see a picture of a canoe. And we already looked that up in the back in the glossary. So we know it's a special kind of boat. And on this illustration, they have different captions that tell about the picture. It says here, cargo was put in each end of the boat. Cargo means things that you take from one place to another. For example, if you were trying to sell some spices long ago, you would put that in a crate or a box, and they would call that the cargo that they had to deliver. It says here, people sat in the middle of the boat. You can see where there's some slats right here for people to sit. And then cargo was put here. So on both ends there was cargo. And on the bottom here it says people rowed with these paddles to move the boat through the water. Look at these pictures. There's some kids using their imaginations. Before there were cars, before there were planes, before there even were bikes, there were boats. Show some of the older boats. I really like this picture, the map of the world showing the oceans. We get to learn in geography very soon. We're going to be learning about different places on maps. It says, there is more water than land on earth. Rivers, lakes, and seas cover a large part of our world. In the past, it was smart to live near water. Why? Why do you think it was smart to live near water? Let's find out. Because you could clean with it, you could cook with it, just like now, all people needed to drink it. And you could travel on it. Where would you travel to? Let's pretend we live with our people in the past. Let's pretend we are dwellers in a Native American village. A dweller is somebody who lives in a certain place. What if our village has more food than we can eat? We do not want it to spoil. When food gets spoiled, that means it's rotten and you can't eat it anymore. What if the people in a village downstream are basket weavers? Maybe they have more baskets than they need. Our village would like some baskets. The other village needs more food. What do we do? They need to solve that problem. Load some food in a canoe. Use paddles to push against the water, and we start to move. It is much easier than bringing the food in a heavy pack. A boat goes faster than a person walking many miles on land. We can join with people in the other village for a trade. Boats were useful for Native American villages. People used them for travel, trade, and fishing. Today, there are many kinds of boats. Ships take people and cargo to places far away. Look at this really cool cargo boat. What does it remind you of when you see all the colors and blocks? Those are actually containers that carry cargo inside. So different things that people need all around the world can travel by boat in those cargo containers. It's a picture of a beautiful sailboat. Sailors steer sailboats on windy days. There are small boats that people can ride just for fun. Sometimes they make a lot of noise. There's one out on the ocean. People enjoy spending time on the water. We can travel faster by plane or train than by boat, but we still travel on water. I have a question for you to think about, and you can share with your parents or your brother or sister. The question is, the author wrote about different kinds of boats. Tell which kind of boat you would most like to travel on and why. And if you want to share that with any of your teachers, we'd love to hear it too.